We're here and I'm gonna make one of the signature dishes that's been on the Mizuna menu for 20 years, our lobster mac and cheese. This was inspired by a restaurant called the French Laundry. Since we have reopened, we've kind of changed how we do it, but the recipe is the same. And the most important part of the lobster mac and cheese for us is making a beurre blanc. So in order to make a beurre blanc, you take vinegar, white wine, some shallots, black peppercorns, and we reduce that down until it's about dry. And it doesn't really matter how you cut the shallots because we're going to discard them anyway. You just want that flavor of it in there. These in to reduce down with it. As it's reducing, we want to get a little bit of peppercorns in here. You don't have to crush them up because we're going to strain all of this out. You can put a little tarragon in here as well, but we want to keep it pretty neutral. And then I have a little bit of butter and heavy cream that I've mixed together, and we'll poach our lobster in that. We're going to add about a pound of butter, and we're just going to whisk that in slowly.
Is this the cheeseless mac and cheese?
No. It's calorie-free mac and cheese.
Vegan too.
Vegan, lacto, ovo, all of it. So the one thing we do with our beurre blanc is we need it a little more stable. So you at home, it's a little difficult to take butter and emulsify it straight into a vinegar. It just takes some time and you have to adjust your heat so that it doesn't break. It's a very temperamental sauce. So what we do is we add a touch of heavy cream to it to kind of stabilize it. And that helps it can get a little hot or a little cold without breaking. And especially since we cook with it to make the lobster mac and cheese, it helps it so we're not always breaking it. But essentially we're trying to never really have it boil. We're just trying to always, this dish is all about just finesse and trying to keep it warm, getting things warm. Okay, so we can see this is just about dry. There's only like a tablespoon, not even, of liquid left in it. So now we want to add about a little less than a half a cup of heavy cream. We're going to let this come to a boil and reduce by about half. And that's what's going to get super thick. So when we put our butter in, it'll emulsify really well. So we can see this is now nice and thick. That cream's reduced by about half. So now is when we start adding our butter. And you want to add it a little bit at a time and really turn your heat down low. And you can't walk away and do this. This is something where you just do it and you keep adding. And then once this butter is incorporated in, we'll add more in.
This was inspired from the French Laundry?
Yeah. They did not use a beurre blanc. They used just a straight beurre monte. But I love beurre blanc, so I thought the acidity in it would be great. We wanted to do something delicate, something that really shows off the lobster.
Adult mac and cheese.
I mean, I think all mac and cheese is adult mac and cheese. You have a party and you have mac and cheese out, it's eaten well before the sauteed asparagus. And it's kind of important you want to use cold butter. Use room temperature butter, it has a tendency to break.
There's no saving it if it breaks?
There is. You can put some ice cubes in and whisk, or you can strain it all out, put some heavy cream in a pot, get that boiling, and then start whisking it in again. Ice cubes work. It's just better not to break it, just to take your time.
Do it.
You've got, this is Pelugra butter, so it's expensive, so if you take your time. Plus, it's really the base of the whole dish. But you always want to season it, so I'm going to put some salt and a little bit of white pepper. Okay, so we're ready. So I have my chinois here. So I'm just gonna put my... People are gonna wanna have a tendency to push that stuff through. I don't wanna push that through. I just wanna kind of move it around, because if I push it through, I'm gonna get some of that bitterness from the shallots or the peppercorns. I just want it to go through on its own. So just a little nudge. Now we're ready to start our mac and cheese. So we've got our base sauce done. So I have my butter and cream. I'm just gonna put my lobster tail in here. And this is just like 110, 120 degrees. I just want this to stay warm. And it's about equal parts butter and mascarpone cheese. And we're just gonna warm this through. This is too high to heat, so just over a little bit of warm. And all I'm trying to do is just melt this. Nice pinch of salt. Nice pinch of white pepper. So I'm gonna add my lobster to it. And I'm going to add my noodles to it. And you can see we don't use a lot of noodles, but this will kind of make it all come together. And it's just pretty quick cooking. And I'm really just getting it hot. Like, I don't want it to cook. And I took it off the heat. And now you can see, because I've taken it off the heat, that it's now nice. It's all come together. This claw is just warm. Remember how flaccid that was? Now it's just cooked just all the way through. So then we come up here, take some of our beurre blanc, which is probably about the same amount. So I have all that knuckle meat in there. That'll go on the bottom.
It's like more lobster than pasta.
Oh, this is all about the lobster. It didn't used to be that way, but then we'll take our tail out of the poaching liquid. Just give it a little coat with some of the leftover. And that goes right on top.
Wow.
Then our claw right there. And we have a little bit of lobster oil that we finish around with. And that's the Mizuna mac and cheese. 20 years ago, or even a year ago, we used to just chop up the lobster and you got a bunch, but since we're doing prefix and you order a lobster mac and cheese as an appetizer, you deserve a whole lobster. At least that's how I feel. So, and you don't really need those noodles to get in your way. So it's just a little bit of noodles, and I love an elbow noodle, so there seemed like no other reason to do another noodle if you're doing macaroni and cheese. So this is one of the dishes we're doing for the anniversary dinner. This is going to be our pasta course that week. So I'm excited for people to come in and try it who haven't tried it before. We may do a half a tail because it's 11 courses, but when you get the a la carte mac and cheese here at Mizuna, this is what it is. And it really is, again, back to don't overcook your lobster, make it succulent, moist, rich. As I said before, I think this is calorie free. I don't think there's anything in here that's fattening, so you can probably eat like 2 or 3 of them. I know Phil and I have eaten 2 or 3 of them a night, just every night since pandemic. So thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you during the Mizuna anniversary.